Hello, amazing listeners. Welcome once again to a brand new episode of the #1 English podcast.
Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to have you with us today. I'm John.
And I'm Emily. We'll be your guides as we explore today's topic and help you improve your English step by step.
Exactly. At the #1 English podcast, our goal is to make learning English enjoyable and practical.
That's right. We focus on real life conversations that make your language learning journey more natural and effective.
So get comfortable and join us as we dive into a meaningful discussion.
With all the recent headlines about Hurricane Milton, it made me pause and think, have you ever been in the middle of a powerful storm?
Actually, yes. A few years ago, I was back in my hometown when we were hit by an enormous storm.
Oh no, what was that experience like?
The wind was so intense it felt like the entire house might collapse. Trees were swaying like blades of grass, and the rain was pouring nonstop.
That sounds terrifying.
It truly was. We had no electricity for 3 days and had to use candles and flashlights to get by.
You really don't realize how dependent we are on electricity until it disappears.
Exactly. And with everything happening around Hurricane Milton, it really brings back those memories.
I've had the same thoughts. This hurricane has become a major event in recent weeks.
It's true. It's deeply affected countless people. That's why we felt it was important to dedicate today's episode to it.
Agreed. Not only is it worth talking about, but it's also a great opportunity to learn new hurricane-related vocabulary.
Exactly. So let's get started. And by the way, don't forget that there's a helpful PDF you can download for this episode. It includes all the terms and extra tips we'll mention today. You'll find the link in the description.
Plus, our dear friend Anna, our resident vocabulary expert, will join us a bit later to go over key expressions and make everything easier to understand.
Absolutely. Anna's breakdown is super helpful. Don't miss that part.
So, let's talk about Hurricane Milton. It really was an intense storm, wasn't it?
Without a doubt. Hurricane Milton has been among the strongest storms in recent memory. It all started as a minor tropical system off Africa's west coast, remember?
Yes. It began as a cluster of thunderclouds that moved into the warm waters of the Atlantic Ocean.
And as we know, warm ocean water acts as fuel for hurricanes. It gives them the energy to grow in strength.
Exactly. As Milton continued to move west, it rapidly developed into a tropical storm, and then intensified into a Category 4 hurricane.
Category 4 hurricanes mean wind speeds ranging from 130 to 156 miles per hour. That's incredibly powerful. Can you imagine winds that fierce?
It's like standing next to a constant roaring jet engine. Fascinating, but also frightening.
Meteorologists, the scientists who study weather, were tracking every detail of Milton's development. They noticed the storm's eye becoming more distinct, which usually means the hurricane is strengthening.
The eye is the calm center of the storm, surrounded by the eye wall, where the most severe weather conditions happen. Right?
Exactly. At first, experts thought Milton would curve to the north and avoid land, but then changing atmospheric conditions redirected it toward the coastline.
That must have been terrifying for the people in its path.
Absolutely. Coastal areas had to act fast to get ready.
You know, John, when I think about how much damage Hurricane Milton caused, it's honestly hard to fully understand. The scale of devastation is overwhelming.
I completely agree, Emily. Seeing the worst hit regions is heartbreaking. It feels like the very spirit of those communities was shattered.
The destruction was just massive. This storm didn't hold back. It ripped through homes, roads, and forests like a force of nature.
Exactly. Entire neighborhoods were left in ruins. So many homes and buildings were destroyed or seriously damaged.
And it wasn't just about property damage. Power lines collapsed too, leaving entire towns without electricity for several days.
And not only power outages, roads were underwater, filled with debris, making it nearly impossible for rescue crews to get through.
I saw so many photos of families who had to leave their homes, entire neighborhoods split apart. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
And the worst part, lives were lost. That's something no community can ever prepare for. It's truly tragic.
Our thoughts and prayers are with everyone who has suffered through this disaster.
Definitely. And while the human toll is immense, we shouldn't overlook the damage done to the environment.
Absolutely. Wetlands, animal habitats, all disrupted in a major way. What's destroyed isn't just visible damage, it's ecosystems that took years to form.
And unfortunately, it's going to take nature a long time to recover.
Still, amid all the tragedy, it's been incredibly inspiring to see people come together in response.
Yes, the emergency teams did an outstanding job.
Local governments acted quickly. They issued evacuation orders before the worst of the storm arrived.
Just in case anyone is unsure, evacuation means residents were told to leave their homes for safety.
Right. Many found protection in temporary shelters set up by public services and nonprofit groups.
And those emergency crews? They've been working nonstop.
Boats, helicopters. They've been rescuing people from flooded homes. It's truly heroic.
Even more touching is seeing everyday people from across the country step in to help.
That's the real spirit of unity and support.
Exactly. When times are hard, people show what they're really made of.
Still, some are asking, were we really prepared for a storm this big?
I've heard those concerns too. Some areas didn't get proper warnings in time. There's definitely room to make our emergency systems better.
This just shows how essential clear communication is in disaster situations.
Right? The better we prepare and the faster we respond, the more lives we can protect.
Absolutely. Seeing how people come together in hard times reminds us of the power of community.
Yes, and stories of resilience and courage have really stood out, like neighbors helping each other, volunteers distributing food and supplies, and rescue workers going beyond the call of duty.
It's these acts of kindness that help communities begin to heal after such devastation.
Exactly. But there's another side to all of this that we have to talk about. The economic consequences of Hurricane Milton.
Yes, the storm left not only physical destruction, but also financial hardship in its wake.
So many small businesses were damaged or completely destroyed. Stores, cafes, and local services are struggling to reopen.
And it's not just the business owners. Their employees are also suffering. Many lost their jobs and sources of income.
Absolutely. Insurance companies have been overwhelmed with claims, and some people didn't even have insurance coverage, which makes the situation even more heartbreaking.
The housing market has taken a hit too. Property values have dropped significantly in the affected areas.
It's going to be a long and difficult recovery process, and people will need to be patient and strong to get through it.
Speaking of strength, the role of the media has also been huge throughout this crisis.
For sure. News outlets and social media have kept the world updated almost in real time with photos, videos, and updates.
That's been incredibly helpful in keeping everyone informed. But we do need to be cautious about misinformation.
Exactly. Sharing false details can cause panic or confusion. It's always important to check facts before posting anything online.
On the bright side, the media has also helped mobilize support. Donations have been pouring in, and people from all over are reaching out to help.
It's heartening to witness that kind of compassion. People stepping up to support each other during tough times is something truly special.
Absolutely. But in addition to supporting those in need, we have to ask ourselves, what can we learn from Hurricane Milton?
That's an important question. One key takeaway is the need for stronger emergency planning.
Yes. While the response has been admirable, some communities were clearly unprepared. We need better systems in place for early warnings and evacuations.
Having clearly marked evacuation routes, more accessible shelters, and better public awareness can make all the difference.
And infrastructure plays a big role, too. We need buildings, power lines, and roads that can withstand strong storms.
Right? Coastal areas especially need better protections. Things like storm barriers, drainage systems, and updated building codes.
And then there's communication. Getting critical information to people quickly is absolutely essential.
Yes. The faster people get the right information, the safer they can be.
Education matters too. If more people knew how to prepare in advance, many could protect themselves and their homes more effectively.
Public awareness campaigns, emergency drills, and community outreach can all help with that.
But beyond all the local preparation, we also need to look at the bigger picture: climate change.
Scientists are pointing out that warmer oceans and rising sea levels are making storms like Hurricane Milton more intense.
It's becoming harder to ignore that connection. Addressing environmental issues now may help prevent more extreme disasters in the future.
It's a wake-up call for all of us. If we don't act, we could face more storms of this magnitude.
And each of us can contribute in small but meaningful ways: reducing energy use, recycling, choosing eco-friendly options.
Exactly. It's about making smart choices today to protect tomorrow.
Well said, John. It's our shared responsibility to build a more resilient and sustainable future.
I hope that from this tragedy, we can learn and do better next time, for our safety and for the next generation.
Now, before we wrap up, let's welcome our vocabulary expert, Anna, for today's breakdown.
That's right. Anna is here to explain some of the important words and phrases we use today.
Anna, welcome back. We're so glad you're here to help break down some of the vocabulary from today's episode.
Yes, many of these terms are useful when discussing natural disasters, weather, and climate.
Thanks, Emily and John. Hi again, listeners. Let's take a few minutes to explore some of the key vocabulary that we heard today. These words will help you better understand the topic and give you more confidence when discussing serious weather events like hurricanes. Hurricane, a large, powerful storm with intense winds and heavy rainfall. Example: Hurricane Milton caused widespread damage along the coast. Tropical disturbance, a cluster of thunderstorms in tropical regions that can grow into a hurricane. Example: what started as a tropical disturbance turned into one of the strongest storms of the year. Storm surge, the abnormal rise of seawater during a storm which leads to flooding. Example: the storm surge flooded entire neighborhoods. Meteorologists, scientists who study and forecast the weather. Example: meteorologists were able to track the storm's path early on. Eye of the hurricane, the calm center of a hurricane. Example: the eye passed directly over the city, giving residents a brief moment of calm. Eye wall, the area around the eye with the strongest winds and rain. Example: the eye wall caused the most destruction during the storm. Atmospheric conditions, elements like air pressure, wind, and temperature that influence weather. Example: changes in atmospheric conditions cause the storm to change direction. Unimaginable, something so extreme that it's hard to comprehend. Example: the destruction caused by the hurricane was unimaginable, showed no mercy, acted with extreme force or cruelty. Example: the hurricane showed no mercy as it swept through the towns. Displaced, forced to leave home because of danger. Example: thousands of families were displaced by the flooding. Toll, the damage or cost caused by something. Example: the emotional toll of the disaster was enormous. Bounce back to recover from hardship or damage. Example: it will take time for the city to bounce back after the storm. Evacuation, moving people away from danger. Example: authorities issued evacuation orders early. Rescue teams, professionals trained to help people in emergencies. Example: rescue teams used boats and helicopters to reach people trapped by the flooding. Wake-up call, an event that makes people realize change is needed. Example: Hurricane Milton is a wake-up call to improve our emergency systems. Selflessness, putting the needs of others first. Example: the selflessness of volunteers inspired everyone. Economic toll, financial losses from a disaster. Example: The storm's economic toll was estimated in the billions, plummeted, fell dramatically. Example, property values plummeted after the storm. Resilience, the ability to recover from difficulties. Example, the resilience of the community helped them rebuild. Power outages, periods when electricity is unavailable. Example, the hurricane left thousands suffering from long power outages. Working around the clock, working day and night with no breaks. Example, emergency crews have been working around the clock, stranded, unable to leave or move because of danger. Example, many were stranded in their homes by the floodwaters. Debris, broken pieces left behind after destruction. Example, streets were filled with debris from fallen trees and damaged buildings. That's all for today's vocabulary. I hope these explanations help you feel more confident when talking about hurricanes and natural disasters. Try using these words in your own conversations. It's a great way to make them stick.
Thanks so much, Anna. That was super helpful as always.
Yes, we appreciate you making these words so easy to understand.
And now we've reached the end of today's episode. We hope this discussion helped you learn more about hurricanes and improved your English skills along the way.
Don't forget to download the free PDF in the description. It includes all the vocabulary we discussed today, along with some practice tips.
Also, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe if you enjoyed the episode.
Thanks so much for joining us. Stay safe, keep learning, and remember, understanding topics like these helps you grow your vocabulary and your world. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Nu.1 English podcast. Keep moving forward with your English, one conversation at a time.